Hey everyone, welcome to the Jayda InStitches show. The autumn is coming and we are getting ready with a nice soft scarf today using the classic chevron stitch with a ridge. And we're going to make today's scarf using Scarfie by Lion Brand. We'd like to thank Lion Brand Yarns for sponsoring today's video. Scarfie is a lovely, soft, fluffy, size 5 bulky yarn. It doesn't feel like a bulky and it's not heavy like a bulky, but its lovely loose spin behaves like a bulky yarn, so it creates a nice, almost cloud-like kind of feel when you work with it. It's an acrylic wool blend, so you have the strength and the durability of wool mixed with the color retention and the washability of acrylic, and the whole thing combines to make a really nice feeling yarn. It's also in a really pretty ombre color pattern, and this particular one is called Cream Mustard, which I feel really says fall. So let's grab our hooks, grab our yarn, we'll head on into the craft table and we will stitch up a lovely, soft and fluffy chevron scarf together. For our scarves today, I'm using Scarfie by Lion Brand. This gorgeous colorway is called Cream Mustard. There are definitely hints of cream and mustard in it, very fallish looking. This is a size 5 bulky weight yarn, and there is 150 grams or 312 yards of yarn in each ball. So a nice big ball of yarn. We're going to get one whole scarf out of it. You want a pair of scissors, a yarn needle, and a large hook. This is a 7mm. If you don't have a 7mm hook, you can go up or down a size, so 6.5mm, also known as a K, or a 10.5 in the US. I believe that's a 3 in the UK. Or you can go up to an 8mm, that's an L, or an 11 in the US, a size 0 in the UK. You can use anything in that size range. We want nice, large, loose, soft stitches for this project. And once you've got all that together, we can get started. We're going to begin with a slip knot. And we're using a chevron style pattern today. So to begin, we're all going to chain 28. 28 chains to begin. Try not to make your chains too tight or too loose. Try to be as even as possible. Once you have 28 chains, you're going to find the 4th chain from the hook. There it is there. And you're going to double crochet into it. That chain 3 that's sort of sitting next to it here counts as a double crochet, and the chain 3 that starts every row in this pattern will count as a double crochet. So chain 3, double crochet into the 4th chain from the hook. We're going to double crochet into each of the next 4 chains. So remember, you want to keep your stitches nice and not loose, but easy. Try to be relaxed as you work this little pattern. So you want nice, soft stitches. So that's a double crochet into each of those 4 chains after the first one we did. So 4 double crochet. Across the next 3 chains, we're going to double crochet 3 stitches together. So we begin a double crochet in the next chain and work the first half of it. So that leaves 2 loops on your hook. Begin another double crochet in the next chain. Work the first half of that. And now you have 3 loops on your hook. And start another double crochet into that 3rd chain. And work the first half of that one. You'll have 4 loops on your hook. You'll have 3 half-created double crochets worked across those 3 chains. And of course the original loop sitting there on your hook, so 4 in total. Yarn over and pull back through everything. And that is going to create the little valley, so the little V, the point of our valley in our chevron pattern. We're going to double crochet into each of the next 4 chains as normal here. So that's 4 double crochet. So I'm just double crochet into each of those 4 chains. Into the next chain, we're going to create a little mountain peak. And this is the only peak throughout the entire pattern. We just have one little peak, and it's always going to be in the very middle of our scarf. Into that chain, you're going to double crochet 3 times. So 3 double crochet all worked into the same chain. There we go. So that's 3 double crochet all worked into the same chain. And now we're going to repeat this little pattern on the other side. So we're going to have 2 little V's worked all the way across our scarf. There will be always one little kind of mountain point in the middle, and there will be 2 little valleys on either side of it. We're going to double crochet into each of the next 4 chains. Across the next 3 chains, we're going to double crochet 3 stitches together. So you start a double crochet in the first chain, work the first half of it, start a double crochet in the next chain, work the first half of it, and start a double crochet in the third chain, work the first half of that. You'll have 4 loops on your hook, yarn over, and pull back through everything. That creates the second valley in our scarf. We're going to double crochet into each of the next 4 chains. And that will leave us with 1 chain left. There it is there. You're going to finish the row by working 2 double crochet into that last chain. So this is all that you need to remember for every single row. Every row begins with a chain 3 and a double crochet worked into the first stitch. That counts as 2 double crochet. Every row ends with 2 double crochet worked into the last stitch, which will be the top of the chain 3 from the previous row. You'll have 2 dips and 1 point, or 2 valleys and 1 mountain peak in every single row. Now, in order to give it a pretty little ridged effect, we're going to do every single row from here on out using the back loops only. So we're going to chain 3 to begin. You're going to chain 3 at the beginning of every single row, turn your work. That counts as a double crochet. And before we leave into that same stitch, so here it is here, that's the same stitch, you're going to work a double crochet into the back loop only. So you're only going to use the back loops of each stitch going forward, and that's how we're going to get a really pretty ridge effect going. So that's chain 3, double crochet, all worked into the first stitch. You're going to double crochet into each of the next 4 stitches, but you're only using the back loops. So back loops only from here on out, every single row. And that brings us up to the first little valley in our scarf. So just like before, we want to work 3 double crochet together across the next 3 stitches. So you start a double crochet in the first stitch, work the first half, start a double crochet in the next stitch, work the first half of that, and start a double crochet in the third stitch, work the first half of that. Remember, you're still using the back loops only. Pull back through everything, and you've worked double crochet 3 stitches together across those 3 stitches, and you can really see that ridge showing up there now. Double crochet into each of the next 4 stitches. Remember to keep using those back loops. And that'll bring you up to the point. This is the mountain peak. It's the very middle of your scarf. That next stitch will be the very middle of those 3 that you worked from the previous row. And into that next stitch, you're going to work 3 double crochet into the back loop only. So 3 double crochet worked into the back loop of that single stitch there. And now we repeat all over again. So still using the back loops of each stitch, you're going to double crochet into each of the next 4 stitches. That brings us up to the second valley in our little scarf. So we're going to double crochet 3 stitches together across the next 3 stitches. So begin and work the first half of a double crochet across the next 3 stitches, still using the back loops only. You'll have 4 loops on your hook, yarn over, back through everything. And we're on the home stretch. We're going to work a double crochet into each of the next 4 stitches. And that brings us up to the chain 3 from the previous row. It counts as a double crochet, remember. So the last thing we're going to do is work 2 double crochet into the top of that chain 3. You want to spin it so that you can see that back loop. You're just going to grab that back loop and double crochet twice into it. Remember, every row begins with and ends with 2 double crochet, and your chain 3 counts as a stitch, so don't forget it. And there we go. You are going to repeat row 2 over and over and over and over until you basically run out of yarn. Remember, you want to use the back loops only for, let me just had an extra loop in there. You want to use the back loops only for every single stitch so that you get this really lovely ridge effect going. You're always going to have 2 valleys and 1 peak. And you're going to have 4 simple double crochet worked on either side of each valley and either side of the peak. So 2 double crochet to begin, double crochet into the next 4, double crochet 3 stitches together, double crochet into the next 4, work 3 double crochet into the next stitch, that's the very center stitch of your entire scarf, double crochet into the next 4, that brings you to a valley, double crochet 3 stitches together, double crochet into the next 4, and then you finish every row with 2 double crochet worked into the top of the chain 3 from the previous row. So you're just repeating row 2 over and over and over again. So there you go. I'm going to turn you loose. Go ahead and repeat row 2 as many times as you like, or until you completely run out of yarn. I have crocheted 78 rows in total. Now, depending on the size of the hook you chose and your own personal stitch tension, you might have a few more rows than me, you may have a few rows less than me. Doesn't matter, it'll still certainly be long enough to wrap around your neck a few times because there is so much yarn in a ball of Scarfie. Once you've gotten to the end of your ball of yarn, or it's as many rows as you like, you're going to just finish your last stitch and fasten off. You can grab your yarn needle and you can do a little bit of weaving back and forth to get rid of those little tails. Just Just a couple of final pattern notes for you. There are 25 stitches in every single row. So remember that when you double crochet 3 stitches together, that actually counts as a single stitch. There it is there. And then of course we're adding 3 stitches in the same stitch up at the top to make that peak. Your chain 3 at the beginning of every row counts as a double crochet, so you will have 25 stitches in every single row. You've got 2 little valleys, so 1 on either side, and 1 peak in the middle, and every row needs to start and end with 2 double crochet. Of course that chain 3 counts as a double crochet, so you only have to work 1 more into the same stitch before you head out and do your whole row. So it's just row 2 repeating over and over and over again. We use the back loops only throughout this entire pattern, so we have this lovely little ridge effect going. And now you can wrap it up around your neck and head out for a little stroll through the leaves. I love a new scarf. It always puts me in the best mood just in time for the fall, and I really do like keeping my neck warm. We hope you enjoyed making this gorgeous scarf along with us today, and we will see you soon here on the Jayda InStitches show. Until then, stay safe, stay crafty, and have an awesome week. Bye everyone!